See, I don't want to cite more real life examples and make politically aligned film buffs to hate me forever, but we can draw parallels with many real life political situations happened in India with Panchavadi Palam. The humor has a bigger purpose in political satires. The humor, it shouldn't simply make the audience laugh and let them forget what the makers were trying to convey, their observation. It should make them think about it over and over again. So, for this episode, I want to talk about how a master pulled off a timeless political satire. Panchavadi Palam, 1984. Let me read out the logline. A henpecked politician wants his name attached to a new bridge, even if that means destroying another perfectly serviceable bridge. So, why does such a movie remain relevant even after 36 years since its release? Let me cite a couple of real life examples. The Central Vista redevelopment project and the new Parliament building might be a dream for many. But isn't it inhumane to continue that work amid the deadly second wave of the pandemic? Don't you think the current Parliament building, which is not even 100 years old, is manageable till we can overcome this COVID crisis? Right when Delhi is trying its level best to survive, the rulers are trying to move ahead with this vanity of theirs, coining it under essential services to go around the COVID regulations. Now wait, I'm not going political about this. Yes, the gist which I just said is very similar to the synopsis of Panchavadi Palam. I'm not trying to blame just one party here. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I'll give you another real life example which kind of showcases the corruption side, which is mentioned in the second half of Panchavadi Palam. The 42 crore rupees worth Palarivattam flyover in Kochi was thrown open to traffic in October 2016, but later it was closed for repairs after cracks and potholes surfaced. That's within 3 years of its commissioning. This sort of corruption is exactly portrayed in Panchavadi Palam. Do you want to know one hell of a coincidence? Panchavadi Palam was released on September 28, 1984, and the demolition of Panchavadi and the demolition of Palarivattam flyover began following the Supreme Court order exactly on 28 September 2020. See, I don't want to cite more real life examples and make politically aligned film buffs to hate me forever, but we can draw parallels with many real life political situations happened in India with Panchavadi Palam. Hence, the word timeless. So let's try to reverse engineer this movie and see what makes it so timeless. Panchavadi Palam was co-written and directed by legendary filmmaker Kolakattil Givargis George, also known as K.G. George, and FTIN. They adapted Velur Krishnakutti's story Palam Apagadattil into Panchavadi Palam. But the adaptation has to convey all the irony and sarcasm in a better way. Like I said in the beginning, the humor has a bigger purpose in political satires. So KG found an unconventional method for this. Political cartoons have been the most effective tool to sarcastically criticize and thwart the crooked moves by the politicians, right? This is one reason why KG decided to co-write Panchavadi Palam with the renowned cartoonist C.J. Yeshudas, popularly known as Yeshudasan. So the total outlook of the movie is almost like a political cartoon, with everything slightly over-exaggerated. The fictional village named Airavadakuri Panchayat is shown as a small cross-section, a microcosm of the whole political scenario that prevails in India. Caricature-like characters with names borrowed from mythology, biblical tales and folk tales. Panchayat president, his name is Dushasana Kurupu. His wife's name is Mandodari. Their daughter is Panjali. An ally and party member is Shigandi Pillai. Now on the opposition side, the opposition party has names borrowed from the Bible. Isaac Taran and Yudas Kunya. The contractors are Jimudavahan and Paulos, who side with the obvious teams. They represent the big shots who take side based on their religions and ideologies. They are all in this mud because of their greed. Then to represent the petty politicians who don't stick to any clear-cut ideologies, who simply bounce between the parties when everything converges into a situation where they require just one vote. Both parties try to grab Barabas, a drunkard who can be honey-trapped. He eventually gets kidnapped by both the parties, serving him liquor and women. You have witnessed such dramas in India, right? MLAs and MPs are flown secretly and asked to stay in resorts, while the leaders backchannel crucial matters of state. There are certain symbols of oppression too. The state exercising authority and power in a cruel and unjust manner. There is a character named Putana. She's a prostitute. Again, a name from the Puranas. Anyway, at one point, she says to the Panchayat president that the government should take responsibility of the child she was carrying, since she was impregnated by a police officer who was therefore the state's business. By the way, later Jehangir's daughter Anarkali elopes with the same cop. Now let's talk about the victims. At the end, who loses? Srinivasan portrays a character named Kathorayan who is differently abled, crippled. Every drama that happens between two elections are like concentric circles. Everything goes back to square one and restarts after every election. And even the politicians who lose in the elections know that they will have enough ammunition to bounce back, right? But civilians who are at the lowest segment in the social stratification, they lose every single time. In the movie, Srinivasan's Kathorayan goes everywhere on his wooden dolly and encourages all the politicians. At one point, he is the only one who listens to their speeches too. But at the end, when the bridge collapses, we see his wooden dolly afloat, signaling the politicians survived and the common man drowned to death in their corruption. Like I said before, this movie has all the aspects, right? By the way, though it is still relevant, back in 1984, it tanked at the box office. That's right. Probably the set construction and the ensemble cast, multi-camera setup, everything resulted in a humongous budget, which ultimately made it difficult at the box office. So, for those who love Panchavadi Palam a lot, the victory of Lijojo's Pelisheri's Amen is a breeze. Amen, released in 2013, is like an ode to Panchavadi Palam. Lijo must have got his initial inspiration from the Serbian film Guka, 2006, written and directed by Dusan Malik. The waterfront village, the trumpet competition, which can decide the fate of a platonic romance, and so on, were part of Guka too. But by the way, director Dusan Malik has written a lot of scripts for Emir Kusturica. And as you all know, Kusturica has always inspired Lijo. Let's leave those. Now let's focus again back on the point ode to Panchavadi Palam. Lijo and P.S. Rafiq weaved these around Kumarangiri Church, which is about to be dismantled and reconstructed to fulfill the personal gains of a crooked priest and his sidekick, a virgin. Yes, they borrowed the key points from KG's movie, portrayed the church instead of the Panchavadi bridge, added layers to it, and then at the end, gave it a magical realism angle too. So, coming back to Panchavadi Palam, I hope I made it clear that almost all the aspects of political scenario is clearly portrayed in this political satire, making it so timeless. It mimics everything that has been happening around us, and it will for years to come. So, this doesn't mean you have to forcefully push all these ingredients into a political satire idea that you have been pondering. Instead, if what you have in your mind doesn't reflect what has been happening around you, then just keep in mind that it might not last forever. If your political satire reflects India very organically, then your work will follow the paths of Panchavadi Palam. Do let me know your thoughts on other political situations which are very similar to the scenes represented in the Panchavadi Palam, down here or on Insta. Wait, I'm not on Insta right now. I might come back to Insta once I finish what I'm writing right now. I'm on a social media detox for a short period. So till then, Godspeed.